What up, everybody? Got another episode here today. Got my boy Steven in here with me.
Hello.
Today we are going to be reviewing the movie 1917. Just came out, and I'll let my boy Steven talk about it for a minute and give you his thoughts and just kind of go over what we thought about the movie.
1917, World War One, not World War Two. Not many World War One movies come out. Probably the best World War One movie ever made, I would think. I can only think of two other ones.
Yeah, you have Flyboys and Warhorse. Warhorse was
good.
It was damn good. And Flyboys, I like airplane fighting, so
Yeah.
the dog
This is
fight
better
aspect.
Flyboys, though, for sure.
You think so?
I do.
Yeah.
This movie is about these two British soldiers who have to go cross a war zone. I'm assuming they're in Germany, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have known that after
Yeah.
seeing the movie, but yeah, they're in Germany and they have to get word to. This is spoilers, by the way. Should have said that from the beginning.
Yeah. If you hadn't seen the movie, pretend you watched it and keep listening.
Yeah. One of these days we'll say that at the beginning. So you already know the plot, but they have to get this letter to a general to save all these men before they go basically into a trap. And that's really what it is. The movie is pretty linear.
It's simple. It's a very simple movie. It's an easy plot, but it's challenging at the same time.
A+ acting.
Yeah.
100%. Did the having such big actors in such little roles throw you off a little bit? Because every British male is in this movie. Every single, you recognize all of them, even the smaller ones, like the guy that's in Black Mirror and Skyfall.
Yeah.
He's the guy that was whenever they were going to No Man's Land, he was like throwing a liquor on him and shit. He was funny. I can't remember his name, but he was good.
So
Colin Firth.
The two main actors in this movie were Dean Charles Chapman.
Tommen from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Tommen, and then George McKay, I believe is his
from
name.
11/22/63 and Captain Fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite young actor. He is so good.
He is very good.
He has a weird face.
Does have a weird face.
But he looks like an old man.
Yeah.
Even though he's probably like 20, 25.
Yeah, so like we were saying, the plot's simple. It's basically go relay a message to the...
Let's go ahead and get the elephant on... Let's get the dick on the table, all right? The big twist of this movie.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Dean Charles Chapman, the Game of Thrones character.
Who was great in this movie. He's only in the movie for what? Say 30, 40 minutes?
30 minutes, 40 minutes. Most
the trailer
unexpected deaths.
Makes you think. I don't do trailers, but every movie you see in the theater, this is no matter what studio, this movie trailer is playing. It's the best trailer I've ever seen for a movie.
Oh, for sure.
And you live to believe he is the star of this movie. And when this cat gets killed, that was shocking. Really super shocking. And of course, it has to happen in every war movie. I don't know if it's propaganda or not, but the American who's kind-hearted tries to save a German soldier's life, and the German kills the American. Happens.
It's British.
Oh, I say American. No, British. The good guy saves the enemy soldier and ends up regretting it.
Yeah. So the soldier just crashed in a plane crash and stabs through his chest. And you're like, you don't even know what's going on. The camera pans away. The guy's trying to get some water to help him, and the camera pans back, and all of a sudden the main character's getting stabbed through the chest, and it's such a.
Did you think he was dead right there?
So I was like, okay, here's what I thought was going to happen. I thought that the guy was going to get a burning piece of wood from the barn and cauterize his wound, and he was going to be able to keep going.
I think they purposely, whenever he took his jacket off, made you think like he had like an armor or something there that blocked the knife from him.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I was like, okay, so it was just a scare. But no, dude's really dead. Like,
yeah.
He died.
I kept thinking there's no way they kill off this character. There's no way that he dies in this movie, because in all the trailers you're like, all right.
And not only through all the trailers, through the first 40 minutes, he is the star.
Yeah.
He is the main actor.
And
so it really fucks you up when they switch main actors.
It was definitely... It was a twist, but I liked it.
Like, I liked it.
At first I was like, damn it, they just killed him. Now it's going to be like... I thought it was going to be like no talking the rest of the movie. And I thought it was just going to be like showing like him in the adventure that he was out on to, send the message. I was like, this is about to get real boring. But it actually, that's when the movie came alive to me. Like,
the movie was alive from the beginning.
You thought so?
I do.
With
the trip mine and everything like that?
That part, but I thought it took till about an hour in. I looked at my phone and I made sure it was an hour in. And it was whenever the action really got going in this movie.
Well, what happened when you looked at
that? That was whenever the German soldier was shooting him, and he was in the...
yeah, that was some hardcore action.
He was like in the gully or whatever that is, small river, trying to get across the bridge. It was an hour in before it really got going. But I felt like this movie was almost a mixture between Saving Private Ryan and...
Dunkirk.
And
even though those are both World War II, I mean, it's still the
it's the plot of Saving Private Ryan without all the action, such as
this is what Dunkirk wanted to be.
Yes, Dunkirk was awful.
Dunkirk was so bad,
but the action wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting more, but this one had enough. But the plot was so good that it really didn't need it, in my opinion.
The tracking shot. First off, it is the best cinematography.
It was so good
of any movie, maybe ever.
At the beginning of the movie, beautiful. I was like, "Okay, this is fucking awesome."
This is
the shots in that movie. It's incredible.
Yeah. They're doing the whole Birdman thing, the Silent House thing. Movies have done this before, where it's supposed to be it's a long tracking shot, and it's not a one-take movie. I'm sure people think like, "Oh, they didn't even cut anywhere." They cut plenty, but it's just. I don't know, that always throws me off when it's just like that.
Dude, how good.
The camera never stops.
Yeah, how good was the music?
The score was fantastic.
It was like, that's what made the movie to me.
And they know that you're paying attention to the score, because whenever the score settles down, that's when you know your characters are safe.
Yeah.
And you can breathe, especially when they're going out that mine shaft, the score stops, I was like, okay, I can breathe now.
It was
intense.
The music, it puts you on the edge of your seat by itself.
And even though you've seen the trailers, I still thought old dude was dead when the mine went off.
I did too.
I was like, they just fake trailers.
I wasn't expecting either one of them to die throughout the whole movie.
I wasn't. But now that looking back at the trailers, that dude is in it way more than Tommen. I'm calling him Tommen just because, Game of Thrones fan, but what's his name? Dean Charles Chapman?
Yeah, Dean Chapman.
Look out for this kid. He is an actor.
He's good.
He was only supposed to be on Game of Thrones for one episode. They thought he was so good they recast him as the actual King Tommen. He's so good.
Yeah, it was a real impressive movie. Is there anything that you didn't like about this movie?
The tracking shot the whole time. There was also moments where I was like, all right, I understand we're just following the day in this guy's life, but can we get to the point? Like, they're just... I feel like he was in that river. It was a slow burn. He was in that river for a minute.
It was a slow burn to me. It was a slow burn.
But there's plenty of action.
There is. It's a slow burn that's a fast pace.
I don't even want to get to the negatives yet, because there's so much that I loved about this movie. Especially, I can't underplay how great the cinematography was. When the city was on fire.
Yeah.
And then you see just the outline of a person. And it's a German soldier. And it's straight Call of Duty mode at this point. So the dude is running after him.
So whenever he wakes up from that, he gets shot at.
Did you think for a second he may have been dead there?
No, I knew. I thought the movie messed up. I thought you keep hearing the click. I was like, the movie messed up. But it's the water hitting him in the head. And so there's a part of the movie where it just goes black, which I'm sure you've seen if you're listening to this. It just goes black, and I was like, oh my god.
What if the credits would have rolled right there?
I'd have been so mad. So whenever he woke up from that, I was like, damn it, we're about to have another Game of Thrones on our hands. This is about to be too dark to see. And
that's my initial thought. I was like, this actor's going to be in 2 shows where you couldn't see anything. Yeah. I was thinking it's nighttime. They're not going to see anything.
Yeah.
But they did it brilliantly again.
He wasn't in Game of Thrones.
Oh, the Tommen guy.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
I was like, he's going to be in 2 movies where...
Okay. Yeah, I was like, damn it, you're not going to be able to see anything. It's about to get good. And all of a sudden, all these flares start going up. And that was badass, son.
It was. That was the most badass part of the movie, for sure. The whole German town is on fire.
It was awesome. And then, whenever he sees the guy across the courtyard, and the German soldier at first is like, here's another...
is that a friend? Is that another
German soldier? And so you see him, and then you see him grip his gun like he's ready to fight. And like Steven said, it goes full Call of Duty mode, just chasing each other.
Chasing them.
Oh, it was
okay,
awesome.
Stormtrooper mode was definitely on for the German soldiers. They could not shoot a broadside of a barn. This dude missed 45 shots. They've shot him
I was like, what are you
times.
talking about?
They shot this cat 7,500 times. Nothing hit him.
Yeah, he was very good at eluding bullets.
And he really even wasn't. He was just running straight.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Whenever he's they're shooting the flares up, at one point he like dives down on the ground whenever it gets light. I thought that was about to be a 10-minute scene where every time a flare goes up, I thought he was about to dive back down. I was like, this is about to be awful. But he just got his ass up and went back to running after that first time. But it was that part of the movie was awesome. Like him running through the German town, and then the scene after where he's in there taking care of the kid and the woman, and he gives them their food.
Yeah, it seems like there's always got to be a chill scene in these war movies where one of the German ladies is helping our hero.
It's like in Fury.
In
whenever
Fury, I immediately thought of Fury.
Yeah.
Thought of that Overlord movie where they bandage you up.
Yeah, I don't know if there's one in Inglourious Bastards or not. I don't remember. Anyway, but whenever he gets out of, he leaves her and he sees the soldier puking in the alley, and then he goes in there and kills that guy. Why did he let his mouth go? Like, it's... Because at first I thought he was a prisoner. I thought he was an English prisoner.
They were going to do the Fury thing, where it's just two young soldiers on opposite side and they're just going to let him go. That's legitimately what I thought. I would have let his mouth go. I thought they were going to be he was just going to be like, we're good, just go away. That's what I was thinking.
He covers the guy's mouth, takes it off, and then the guy immediately screams like,
how
did you
drunk
not?
was that other German soldier?
Oh, he was fucked up. That's why he couldn't hit anybody.
Yeah. And that dude didn't even die. The other guy was just like, I'm out of here.
Did what's his name? George McKay, did he not carry a knife? Like, do they not have...
He had his knife on his gun. The, what's it called?
Bayonet?
Yeah, bayonet. And then I guess he just didn't worry about it.
I was so mad. Like, you could have easily stabbed this guy. The drunk soldier comes up to him. He doesn't even know what's going on. You could turn around and stab him in the neck so quick it'd have been over. But instead, you just take off running past him. I didn't... Not that I didn't like that. I was like, oh, this could have been so avoidable. But it made it so much better that he didn't. Them chasing him like that, the music in the background, the whole thing was just awesome. And then, towards the end of the movie, he just stumbles across, like...
He's done. Once he gets in that river,
yeah,
I was like, okay, we're in this river for a while. Like, we know he's not going to die in the river. He fell asleep in the river at one point. That's not even a joke.
You thought the river scene lasted long?
I felt like that lasted like 10, 15 minutes too long. It probably was only like 5 minutes, but it felt...
I don't even feel like it was 5 minutes.
Dude, he was in the river. He just kept coming up and up and up. And then the waterfall. And then the dead bodies and
maybe
stuff.
It was 5 minutes. I don't know. It wasn't... I don't think it was good. What I didn't like...
When he jumped off into the river,
that was bad.
That was a long fall. I was like, this dude just died.
Yeah. Because I was thinking to myself, damn, like, what if there was no water?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even look before he jumped down.
Getting shot at, had to go.
But when he gets to the end of the river, he's crawling over those bodies. That was pretty intense. And then he just hears the guy singing in the woods. Like, that's
Shout out to that singer.
No joke.
That was a good singer.
Whenever at first, like, you can barely hear him, I'm like, damn, they got Ed Sheeran in this movie to play a soldier. I was like, hell yeah. But then as he got closer and you could distinguish a voice, you could tell it wasn't him. But this is one thing I hate about movies right here.
What?
What are the chances of them, and I know they have to make it Hollywood, but him ending to a stream and then not knowing where he's at and he just follows the guy singing? Like,
I mean, I'm sure it was based on a true story.
Yeah, but I bet in the actual story, like, he
walked around for miles.
Walked around. I wouldn't say miles. But
well, I'm saying he stumbled around a lot longer.
Walked around, or somebody saw him. And was
but
like,
that's another thing where it's the tracking shot. They're not cutting. Yeah. So he has to go from one scenario immediately to the next in order for the stylistic thing of this movie to even, work.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Now that you say that, I understand what you mean by, like, not cutting, because there was no cuts in the movie. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, there was cuts. It was just, whenever they would zoom in on something or they would go to black.
Yeah.
This is the best I've seen a movie do it.
It was
it's better than that Silent House garbage, and it's better than Birdman. I'm sure there's been other movies to do it, but this is the best I've seen where it's all the way through.
Oh, it was very good. I thought it was like the best one I've ever seen. At least it was, and it was like it was pretty. Like the skies, the farmland, the burning city, which I didn't pretty, but I mean it was just awesome to look at through the camera. But so we talked about all that. Anything else you just really
The
liked
most
about it?
intense scene of this. There was so many intense scenes, but which one was more intense? Whenever I don't want to talk about real quick how he was jumping in the mine shaft, where he couldn't see, and he was just holding on to the guy.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You just gotta jump, dog." There's no way I wouldn't be dead right there.
Yeah. Well, okay. Whenever someone says there's a shaft right here or it's a well, you have to jump over it. I don't take a little leap like he did. I'm diving. Like
I feel like he didn't even go forward. I thought he was dead.
whenever that happened, I was like, "What the hell?" Like I would have dove.
Just
across
imagine
that
being
thing.
in a mine shaft, all this stuff's going around you, and you just you can't see, and you just gotta trust this guy.
He looked like he was playing leapfrog when he was
Yeah.
trying to jump that. I was like, that's the best jump you got, guy? Which I understand, rocks did just fall on him and bury him alive, but still, I would like, I don't know, I thought that was kind of weird, but...
The most intense is whenever he is trying to get the message across to the thing, and he's just like, the whole friendly stuff is charging with their bayonets. He's like, fuck it, I'm going. And he just is in an all-out sprint. He runs into 3 or 4 people.
Did you not think he was going to get stabbed?
That's the point. They were thinking he was going to get stabbed. That's what they wanted the audience to think, and I thought it for sure.
I thought he was
Just
too.
a couple dudes ate shit.
Yeah.
They ran into each other hard.
Well, the first guy, I looked at it, the first guy who fell down, it almost was like he thought he had been shot because he fell on the ground. He like went into a fetal position and just laid there and did not move or get back up. Like, fuck, I just got hit.
I like how the commander before the scene started was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
He's like, "That's not an option, dog. You're not about to run over here like this."
Yeah.
He's like, "Fuck it, I'm doing it."
And then when he got he finally found the lieutenant or whatever he was.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, and he was like, they would not let him speak to him. I was like,
This motherfucker's speaking to you right now. We did not go through this whole movie for you to still get these people killed.
I thought they were gonna like lock him up, not lock him up, but basically not let him speak.
I thought he was gonna cause a bigger scene. I thought he was gonna like punch him or something like that.
Yeah, but he didn't seem like a too violent of a guy. I felt like he only killed
I
when
felt
he
like
had to.
yeah.
And so, and I was surprised he called off the attack so quick.
He did call off the attack a lot quicker than I thought.
Yeah,
because they even had Mark Strong say some men just they want to fight.
Make sure there's witnesses because some men just want to fight. And I was like, this dude is not going to call it off. He's going to get all of his men killed. So that is a true story, isn't it? Because at the end of the movie,
I would assume this whole movie is a true story.
Well, at the beginning, there was no. It never said based on true events.
It said at the end, dedicated to our friend who told us these stories, and there was like the person.
No, dedicated to him who always told stories. Because he, at the end of the movie, when he tells his brother that he died, he was like, "Yeah, he always kept the group laughing with stories."
I'm saying if you're dedicating it to
that's
a
why
person that's in the
it was
movie,
true.
I'm assuming it's a true
But
story.
it just kind of threw me off because at the beginning of the movie, they never said based on true events or this is.
Well, obviously, it's based on a true event.
Yeah.
But the Richard Madden was a great actor in this movie. I almost teared up.
Did you?
I almost teared up whenever he was like, my brother. I can't do an English accent. But he was like,
no. You committed to it. You do the English accent right now.
Pit, chill. Where my brother, man? My brother didn't come with you? Where's that Charlie?
Yeah, that's piss poor. Just stop.
But he was like he was so excited to see his brother, and the dude's like, your brother's not here. And then they were shaking hands. I was like,
it was a very tense scene, and it made you get emotional. I'm not a crier, and so I'd never cry.
I stopped myself from crying. I cry in movies all the time, but I was able to stop myself this time.
Yeah. It was a very tense scene. It was. I thought like he was gonna say like, because at the beginning the kid was so worried about getting a medal, and he says, "Well, you're getting a medal now. You just saved my life." So I thought it was gonna be brought up like, and your brother's gonna be like getting a medal for saving my life.
Which I'm sure he will.
Yeah, he will, but it just I figured they'd have honed in on that a little more just because he was so worried about getting it.
Yeah. I was so happy for this dude whenever he got to sit down on that tree at the end. I was like, this dude can finally relax.
Yeah.
And it's only been like, 48 hours maybe, this dude's life, if that.
See, that's where I was confused.
The distance was fucking you up.
Oh my god. So I was going to get that into a part of the movie that I hated. And Before we get into that, was there anything else you just really liked about this movie?
I like how right off the jump, they let you know how realistic it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like how gruesome. Like when he cuts his hand and then immediately accidentally sticks it inside a dead soldier's body.
Yeah, that was...
I wanted a dead body count of how many, or dead animal count, just how many dead things all around. They even shot the cows.
Yeah. Have you ever seen War Horse? You just
I've seen War Horse. It was good.
How, like, all those dead horses that they used to just kill in those...
I can't remember War Horse. It was good, though. I remember that.
Yeah, but there was a lot of dead people and animals all throughout the movie. It was great. So, go ahead. Let's get into things that we didn't like. Now that you brought it up a minute ago, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. So, the biggest problem I had with that movie...
There was a problem for me, too.
And it seemed... They built this whole movie up about how he had to travel so far to get to his brother.
They never said it was so far.
They didn't say it was far, but
they said it should take. You had 2 days to get there?
It was like a day and a half, I think.
A day and a half. So obviously it's not that far if you can get there in a day and a half on foot.
So let me just break this down. I'm not going to go through the whole yardage and miles, but they told him it was 50 yards or 170 yards across no man's land into German territory. They got across.
They specifically said 150 yards.
I thought he said it's 148 yards.
Okay.
And so...
That's just getting out of no man's land, though.
Getting out of, but then they got in there. The mine collapses. It could not have been another 200 yards to the house behind the German, once they're inside where the Germans were living and stuff like that. Could not have been another 200 yards behind there, that house. Okay? I understand you got to go slow. You don't know that the Germans aren't there yet. And then he gets killed. They hop in the truck, pick him up, and they take him, I would say maybe.
2 miles?
Maybe.
2 miles would seem generous.
Yeah, I would say it could have been anywhere between half a mile to a mile and a half. I was giving it. And then the bridge was blown out.
He was running through that city for a minute, though.
Yeah, but just think about running. He wasn't running...
You're right, and he goes in the river.
I would say...
I feel like this is also more liberties they take with the story. Again, to have this tracking shots be a thing. If it's miles and miles and stuff, you're not going to have him walking. I mean, you're not going to have... It's going to be cutting from them walking or not. And not them just continuous in a straight shot so it will fit into the movie.
Yeah, I understand.
The logic may not always end up, but
because if you sit there and really think about it, the guy...
They were probably walking if it's true story, real life, they were probably walking miles and miles.
I would say it was probably about 5 to 10 miles away in real life.
Yes, but in this movie, for their style purposes, it was only a couple hundred yards.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. So it felt like...
That's what it was.
Okay, these guys have walked 800 yards and it took them 2 days to get there. And I understand he had to go through a city that was under capture between someone else.
And it didn't take him 2 days to get there.
No, because he passed out and he woke up at night. But I was thinking, I was like, Jesus, like they've traveled 1,000 yards in this movie and they just made it seem like 2 miles. I thought the furthest he traveled was in the river. I thought the river carried him further than he ever walked.
I felt like he was in the river for 3 days. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand like the tracking shot, that makes sense, but it is definitely, I was like...
Okay. I was scared in the beginning of this movie. I really did not like the no man's land stuff.
Well,
I was like...
Why not?
Because you knew the Germans were going or it wasn't a movie.
I thought they were going to be there.
If the whole German army was there, they're both dead.
Well, I didn't think it was going to be whole. I thought there was going to be like a few stragglers left over that they...
When they dumped that fire bucket, though, you were like, oh, shit.
I thought people were still there.
Yeah.
And so, because I thought there was going to be more action in this movie than there was, but I'm not upset at the action that was in it, if that makes sense. Like, I thought it was the perfect amount. I just thought there would be more. And so I expected German soldiers. I expected them to fight a little more. I mean, Dean Chapman... He never even killed anybody in the movie. It was just the other guy.
And that dude didn't really kill many.
Yeah, I think
killed 2.
Yeah, 2. He shot the soldier in the airplane, and then
he killed 3. Because he killed the guy that was trying to snipe him.
Yeah, that's right.
Killed the soldier in the airplane, and then he choked the guy out.
Yeah. So, did you have any more problems with it?
Maybe not with the story, but how bad would it suck to have been one of those two actors in this movie? I
Yeah.
feel like it would have been so hard.
The act,
Especially if you're George McKay. Like, I'm talking about, like, actually showing up to work and being on set. Especially when it's all just, like, one long shot like this.
Yeah.
I bet it would have sucked so hard to be an actor in this movie.
Like you're saying, more difficult, or
Yeah, it would have been
any
super
fun?
difficult. I don't think it would have been fun. I think it would have been really difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're.
Another problem, that's probably just me, though, having these cameos by these big British actors threw me off a little bit. Because I'm like, your brain's like, oh, that's Colin Firth, that's Benedict Cumberbatch, that's Mark Strong. These are guys that should have a 15-minute role minimum in a movie. And then, they're only in there for one scene.
But
like, the whole time I was like, are they coming back, or,
I mean, how often are there all British movies, though?
That's true.
I bet these guys are like, oh, we got an all British movie. I want to be a part of that. Yeah. And so they were.
We didn't mention the director, Sam Mendes.
Yeah, excellent.
So good.
Excellent.
Directed the best James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Skyfall.
Not a big James Bond person, but
something wrong in the head. But this is one of his best movies, I feel like.
Yeah, it was definitely really good. What anything else you want to get to before we kind of close out here?
I remember there was one other part I want to talk about. Intense part. I hated the German on the airplane, though.
How fucked up was that?
I hated it.
They're
going
trying
back to his death real quick, it really was like, come on. His death scene was actually like really well acted. Like, he was just dead.
Yeah.
You could see the color in his face. You were like,
okay, that's what I was wondering. You see him go from a normal, and then you see him go to pale. I was like, and it never got off of. I was like, is that like CGI affecting that, or is that like them like cutting away? Because it seemed like they never cut away though.
It seems like they never cut away, but I don't know.
I was wondering how they did that because I was like,
when they were trying to get him up, I was like, get up, dude.
Yeah.
Walk, man, you got this.
Yeah, he wasn't having any of it. He knew he was dead.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, I've been hit. I was like, damn, this dude, he's about to die. When he said, because I thought he was gonna live. I said they're gonna cauterize this wound. He's gonna live.
That's what I thought. I thought he was gonna live.
But then when he said, oh, I've been hit, I was like, he's dead. We can forget it.
They made you care about him in that short amount of time, though.
They did. And then you just feel for his brother at the end, just like realizing he just lost.
And see, usually, we talked about this before, usually when we watch a war movie, this is for males, whenever you watch a war movie, there's a part of you, in the back of your head, you'd be like, man, I could have done this. This should have been alright. I could be, part of World War II or in Vietnam or something like that. This is and that statistically, whenever a war movie comes out, like the recruitment and everything, or the enlistment numbers, it goes up.
Really?
Every single war movie that's ever made, even Full Metal Jacket, anti-war movies, the recruitment number goes up. So that's why military, they never have a problem whenever a war movie comes out.
Did not know that.
Because it always comes up because the guys see it and they're like, dude, this would be awesome. And I'm usually part of that. This movie, one of the first movies I was like, I want no part of it.
Yeah.
I want nothing. I could have never done this, not even for a second.
So,
it just seems so uncomfortable.
A little
so bad.
A little backstory on me. I studied history for about 2 years at college, and I love like war history, and trench warfare has to be the worst type of warfare there is. I mean, these dudes are just stuck in these trenches for days at a time, getting gangrene on their feet, getting trench foot.
The medicine.
I mean, yeah,
it's nothing.
Stuck in these little holes. It's all muddy. You have no solid ground. There's rats everywhere and no food. It has to be the worst form of warfare, besides of just like back in the day, taking two armies and running them into each other with swords.
That'll at least been quicker.
Yeah, trench warfare looks miserable, and I'm glad it's no longer a thing. Hopefully, it's never a thing again.
World War III's coming up, though, baby.
Yeah. Well, we have drones for that now.
Drones, yeah.
And so, yeah, Stephen's right.
It's crazy to think this was only 100 years ago.
Yeah, Stephen's right. This movie made me want to have no part of it. It just
because at least there's usually a little imagination. Like,
yeah,
I could have been in the war, but no, not on this one.
And you don't see, besides the time he was drinking the little milk and the water, you don't see this guy eat or drink for a day and a half, and
you knew this guy was a good dude when he gave what he did have to this.
There were
and the baby.
No rations back then. Like it looks awful. You don't want any part of it.
And he wasn't even worried about food.
Yeah,
the other guy was worried about food.
Yeah, and so, but overall, I would.
Were
say,
you not scared when that milk came up though? When the milk was in the bucket?
So I thought
I was like, "There's Germans around."
No, I thought there was gonna be a dead animal, like a dead rat, or like for a second I thought somebody like chopped off a hand, put it in this milk, and then he was drinking it and then poured it out. I thought something was gonna come out of it.
I didn't think about that for a second. I was just
did.
like, okay, there's freshly squeezed milk here. Someone had to do that. There is Germans around. This dude's about to get killed.
Yeah.
That was my
Whenever
first
he
thought.
said I don't like this place, I knew something was
Yeah.
going on there. But all right, let's get to where we rate this movie.
The banana meter?
The banana
Good
meter.
old banana meter? Alright, we're going to do this though. You're going to guess what you think the Rotten Tomatoes is.
Okay. All right.
You're going to do
I like
audience and you're going to do critics.
Okay, I like this. So we just brought this up. I didn't know I was doing this, but
Now, the audience is usually always more accurate than the critics, in my opinion.
you think?
100%.
Okay. You got it pulled up?
Got it pulled up right now. Out of 245 top critics, air quotes, critics,
Mm-hmm.
what'd this movie get?
Scale 1 through 100?
Percentage-wise, yes.
I'm going to say 82%.
89%.
89?
Audience score?
I'm going to stick to my 82%.
95%.
Okay, I did not think it was that good.
I don't know. I don't know what I would rate this movie, to be honest.
See,
I thought about it more.
I have this movie at a 77%, and
That's low.
the only reason I have it so low is because of the action in it. Not that it was bad, but it's kind of portrayed in the trailer as more of an action movie, and
This movie was quick.
it was short.
Yeah, it was a quick movie.
Short.
It's kind of refreshing though. Not every war movie has to be
3
3 hours long.
Yeah, and it wasn't bad. I say 77, and it may be closer towards 80.
I think it's got to be in the 80s. I'll give it 83. 83 bananas.
Yeah, 83 would be good. I'm gonna stick with my 77 just because I expected a little bit more. The plot was so simple. It was just an easy movie, but at the same time, it was just so tense the whole time. You were just like tensed up, like, oh shit, what's about to happen? And
when a movie can make you care about the characters, it's got to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely
a
thumbs up.
I was thinking in the 80s, but I was like, you know what? There were a few problems I had in this movie, and so I'm a tough scorer. I don't really give a lot of high grades out, and so I'm gonna stick with my 77.
I agree with that. Now, this is one of those movies I believe where, came out in New York and LA and stuff before it came out here at the end of the year, so it could, be an Oscar contention. Now, would this have been in your top 10 movies of the year before we had just made our previous podcast? Would it have made the cut?
Man, I don't really know. I know it was definitely I thought it was a really good movie. I don't know that I could have taken one of these out. Is it a better movie, like better directed and better like overall than Star Wars?
This movie was hard to make, I bet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it like a better quality movie than like Star Wars and stuff like that? Yes, in my opinion. Like it has way better like shots and stuff like that. But I love the story of those types of movies. And so I don't know if I may could take out like Good Boys or The Highwaymen and slide this in there, but it's definitely an honorable mention if not top 10. It was a good movie.
I can't help but be disappointed by this movie because how great the trailer was.
Yeah.
This really is why I'm trailer free. I try to be.
Yeah.
For now, I'm going to movies.
The trailer was.
I'm going to movies late all the time now.
Yeah.
Because this trailer, the movie couldn't live up to how good this trailer was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the trailer was very good.
And the trailer really did show pretty much the whole movie. Now I'm thinking about it.
No, it didn't.
Beats for beat. I mean, you didn't know
You
the
got
huge
the
twist.
Well, you knew the story coming into the movie.
Like you knew, as I was waiting for that epic running scene.
Me
where,
too.
He's
whole
running
time.
and then it cuts to the whole 1917.
Yeah.
So you're waiting for that the whole time. You're like, well, this is gonna happen.
Yeah, and
it knocks the stakes out of the movie.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know when trailers started throwing third act stuff in the movie.
Yeah, the trailer was a really good trailer. I guess if you want to say that, it was a very showing trailer. It gave you the plot of the movie, which I know that's what it's supposed
But
to
still,
do.
very good surprises in it.
But you could watch a trailer and we could have talked about this movie and you'd be like, yeah, I know, because the trailer lays
I want
out
to
what
watch
this
the
movie
trailer
is.
again after I watch this movie.
Yeah,
Because maybe you will see, oh boy. Maybe you realize he's not in it as much as you think.
yeah, I guess
It's
so.
just weird to have a main character, just switch like that. Where your side character becomes your main character.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, do you think this movie would have worked if the two actors weren't as great as they were? I feel like this movie hinged on their acting, especially that George McKay.
George McKay, yes. I don't feel like Dean Chapman had to be as
was
involved.
great, though,
He
for the role
was
he
good.
had. Yeah, he was great.
He was. He played it well. A timid kid, not really sure about war. Like he's sure about war, but
He was
doesn't
going to
seem
get his
very
job
experienced.
done.
Exactly.
He was wanting to
He
get that
wanted
job
to
done
save
for
his brother, and so he was very determined, but very almost new and fresh at the same time. Where the other guy, you could tell he had seen war, and he was not as
This is
quick
his second tour or something.
Yeah.
Like that. And you know that just because he finished his mission, he's still gonna have to go back.
Yeah, he
out
has
there.
to go back, and then
he's not done.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking towards you. I was like, guess what? You get to go back and you get to keep fighting.
How about that Benedict Cumberbatch general was like, good job, now fuck off.
Yeah.
I was like,
such a dick.
now it would have been nice if there was a scene just for the Game of Thrones people with Tom and
yeah.
Richard Madden. That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been
Like
good.
they're playing brothers, but you killed my father.
Steven's a big supporter of Game
We're
of
not
Thrones.
getting into Game of
He
Thrones right
loved
now.
the last season.
Worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
We're not getting into it because we can literally argue for hours and hours on that. Anyway.
So bad.
So, yeah, that concludes this podcast of 1917, the review and the spoiler about it. And so, maybe, I don't know of any other big movies coming out right now, but we can knock out a couple Netflix movies and review those for next time.
Maybe get some TV here or there.
Yeah, a couple episodes of something. We'll figure it out and,
You season 2?
yeah, bring something else to you guys. So, we appreciate it. Subscribe, leave us a review if you want to. Let us know what you like, don't like. But that's it for now. Peace.
Bye.